for today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys the new Etude House Winnie the Pooh collaboration collection. This is their new collection for the beginning of 2019, so I have most of the products here. I'm going to be sharing with you guys my thoughts on them as well as the products themselves. So without much further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so first we have the face blur here, and I think this is gonna be, let's see. Yeah, okay. So this basically is their Beauty Shop face blur. It's just repackaged. This one is the face liquid blur, and one major difference I'm seeing besides face blur and face liquid blur, the names themselves, this one has a bit of a higher SPF than just the face blur. The packaging's pretty similar. In fact, this is gonna fall apart in my collection. So that one, like the name implies, is a little bit more liquidy. With one pump, you can see actually how much more that spreads out than the thicker consistency one. So what I'm gonna do is, I do have a little bit of face makeup on. I'm gonna remove that, and then I'm gonna put one on one side and one on the other side so we can see the difference. Now the main difference I'm thinking between these two is that I would recommend the liquid face blur for those of you guys who have oily skin or combination skin. And for those of you guys who have dry skin, stick to the face blur. So they pretty much look similar on the skin. I don't know if you guys can see, it's a slight difference. Like, you can definitely tell this one's a little bit more moisturizing on my skin. Now this collection does not come with any foundation, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hop off camera, apply my foundation, set my skin, and I will be right back. Now moving on to some of the products like I mentioned in the beginning of this video that are also repackaged. We have the Jelly Multi Balm, which again, this is something that they have as part of their regular line. I actually haven't tried it yet, so this was a good opportunity for me to pick it up. But it is a repackaged product, and to show you guys what it looks like, it's a little tin, and essentially what this is it's a multi-use type of product. So you can use this with dry patches on your skin, you can use it to make your foundation look dewy. They have a couple of listed options on their site. Now we also have some limited edition packaging products, so they did come out with the Happy with Piglet cushion case, which you'll be happy to know that this is a printed cushion case. So unlike the liquid face blur and the face blur, this is printed on. So for those of you guys who are interested in picking this up for a compact refill, it should last a little bit better than just a sticker. And then they have the quad here, and again, it's the same situation. So it is a printed on sticker, so you don't have to worry about that coming off, at least peeling off. Maybe it will etch off eventually, but I also thought that was adorable. And I love the Etude House single shadows. I'm really excited to check those out and put a couple of them in here. So these are always handy for me to pick up. Now my cheekies are feeling a little bare, so I'm gonna go ahead and apply on the blush products that are part of this collection. They have 5 blushes, and I was able to pick up all 5 from Yes Style. Now this is a new product that is part of this collection. Oh my goodness! These are so cute! I was actually expecting this for some reason to be like a springier type of formulation. Feels a little bit like powdered Play-Doh, if that makes sense. Oh, and the shade that I'm going to be using in this video is OR201 My Piggy. I don't know if you guys are seeing this, but this is not the easiest blush to blend in. I'm gonna try it with a brush now. That is much easier to apply. Now, of course, I do have all of the shades, so I'm gonna go ahead and jump to some swatches here so you can see what they all look like. Like I mentioned, here are the swatches of the different shades of the Jelly Mousse blushers from this Happy with Piglet collection from Etude House. And there were a couple formula notes I wanted to make, so that's why I'm doing a little voiceover for this part. Now, one thing that I noticed is that the consistency of these blushes are not consistent through each of the blushes. So one thing I noticed is that these first 2 blushes, OR202 and OR201, were more of the powdery Play-Doh texture I was talking about. But when I got to PK001 Gloomy Piggy, you'll actually see as I swatch it how much creamier this is. So this shade was more of like a cream blush. You can see kind of the texture change, and I'm trying to get a close-up so you guys can see that visually, which I thought was kind of different. Another one that had a similar formula to this was PK002 Shy Piggy, which is this shade here. And again, as you could see, it's more of a creamy texture than the OR 202 and 201. So that was kind of weird. These ones definitely had a bit more of that springier texture I was mentioning that I was expecting with these shades. And then RD301, which is the Winnie the Pooh blusher, is a very bright blusher. The rest of them were just kind of washes of color, which is something that I like, but just something I wanted to note that I thought was a little off with these blushers is that they're definitely not consistent. So I don't know if those are just mine or if those are universal. Now besides the blushes, I would say that the eyeshadows are something else that I'm really excited about with this collection. Like I mentioned earlier, I love Etude House eyeshadows, so whenever they come out with new shades, I'm always interested in checking them out. Now they did have, I believe, 10 shades launched with this collection. However, I was only able to get my hands on 8 of them. So I've got them in here. And as you can see, the packaging of these are super cute. Each of them are individual. I love those. Now I am gonna just go ahead and create a quick eyeshadow look with these shadows. This is a first impression, so I am winging it at this point, but I will include swatches of all the eyeshadows so you can see what those look like as well. So for this look, I naturally started off with the matte brown in my crease. So I'm using BR418, Falling in Love, and blending that out. One thing I also wanted to mention is that I did not use a primer with these shadows in this demonstration. I did have a little bit of concealer and powder on my lids, but no eyeshadow primer to make them look more pigmented. So I was pleasantly surprised with how the shade blended out. The matte showed up really nicely and it wasn't patchy whatsoever. Now moving on to the jewel formulations. Jewel formulations for me with Etude House are hit or miss, and when I get to the swatches, I'll point out what I mean. But here you see me applying RD306 Don't Be Sad to the lids, and I think it turned out really nice. Then finally, I'm taking another jewel shadow in BR430 Great Rabbit and applying that to the outer V. Now you will see the final look in the rest of the video, but in the meantime, I'm gonna go through the swatches of these shadows. Now in general, like I said, I'm pretty happy with Etude House single shadows. The lighter matte colors obviously show up a little bit lighter. They're not as pigmented, but I know matte formulations can be a little bit more difficult. This one also was one that had a little bit of shimmer to it, but was a bit light. Again, I think these would be nice transition colors, so not too bad. And then this is kind of what I was talking about when I was saying jewel shadows are hit or miss with Etude House. Some of them just translate the glitters, while others actually translate color as well. Now I have to say the only one that I noticed that didn't really translate as far as colors and pigmentation goes is that BE115 A Spoonful of Honey, but other than that, the other jewel shadows were pretty nice. So yeah, I'll let you guys enjoy the rest of these swatches, but overall, I enjoyed the colors. I think the shades are very wearable. Are they super unique? No, not really, but if you're looking to pick up some shadows in this type of family, I think that these are nice, and of course the packaging's to die for. Okay, so now that I've got my eye makeup finished, I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the lip products. Now the lip products are right here, and I have 5 of them. These are in their Color and Liquid Lips in Mousse formula, which is again a formula that they already have as their pre-existing line, but these are, I believe, new shades for this collection. So naturally, I'm gonna go ahead and swatch them all for you guys. These kind of smell like medicine. Not my favorite. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about these lip products for a little bit. Now, first and foremost, this formula is supposed to be moisturizing for dry lips despite it being kind of a velvety matte type of finish. However, for me and my dry lips, I couldn't stand these. Unfortunately, this formula specifically would accentuate the dry patches in my lips, and it would also sink into the dry patches as I'm showing here and stain the skin. So not necessarily the best type of look for people who have dry lips. I have definitely found a lot of other tinting, moussey, velvety type of products that are not this drying. So I just couldn't stand the formula. Another thing that I wanted to note is the colors. You'll see them kind of next to each other, but they're all so bright, and the tint when you wipe them off pretty much looks the same in my eyes. And there wasn't a lot of variety in the shades that I was seeing with this collection. So these aren't really colors that I wear personally. They're a little bit too orangey for me and my skin tone. If you guys like that, maybe that's a different story, but that's just my personal preference. Also, here's another close-up of the products on my lips, and you can see how it catches in the dry patches. It makes it worse and almost like balls up. It's kind of awful. Now, besides the colors and the formulas of these lip products, another thing that I wanted to note is that I noticed that these are called Air Mousse, the Color and Liquid Lips Air Mousse, and they do have a Color and Liquid Lips mousse that's part of their normal collection. I don't know if they're trying to make the formula different. I had swatched my normal mousse next to these Air Mousses, and they felt pretty dang similar. So I don't know if Etude House is like trying to name them so they seem different, or if they actually are and I'm just not picking up on the difference. I don't know what's going on there, but overall I'm just not a big fan of these personally. And there's where you can see the tints are basically like a bright pink orange kind of tint. So I don't know what happened to my outro clip, but overall I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will put product links in the description box below. As always, I hope you guys are happy and healthy, and don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe, share with your friends and family, hit that notification bell, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys!